Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here. It is 8:30 a.m. Wednesday, April the 8th. That's 8:30 EST, and here we are looking at the NASDAQ after the ceasefire. So that's the big news. What's it going to do to the NASDAQ? What has it done? We're going to talk about that, but first, take a look in the description. I've got a free algo in there for you. All right, so click the link, and basically, it's a very quick video. I show you how I build an algo, turn it into code, and I show you the tools that traders use to connect it to their broker so it can trade for them when they're not even sitting at the computer, right? So they could be golfing, sleeping, whatever it is, and it's trading. You do have to optimize the code for your own trading, right? It's pretty easy to do. We teach you how to do that at Algo Factory. So come join us or die. Just kidding. All right, good. So also, what is it? About 60% of you who watch this don't like or subscribe. So do that. Subscribe, like, it helps us out. NASDAQ towards the highs of its kind of its recent, what do you call this thing? Consolidation. So the price had been going sideways more or less going back to the 5th or so of February, right? And right in the middle of it, it really developed a pretty clear range, very easily tradable range. And the top of that range was 25 to 35 or so, right? And we had the ceasefire announcement yesterday. Trump has at least brokered a ceasefire. There's a lot of talk about the details and, who agreed to what, and who knows about any of that at this point. Very difficult to get details. Usually there's at least a 48-hour rule when it comes to anything warfare, big news like that. So I'm kind of reserving my opinion on exactly what's going on. But and we also have some stuff going on as far as like inside what's going on. V the Gorilla's got some people who have been talking to people over in Tel Aviv, elsewhere. So interesting things happening. We might share some of that in the private live lab as to what's going on the ground over there from what we understand. But at least we know there's going to be an agreed to 2-week ceasefire. Now, of course, maybe that changes and maybe the negotiations fall apart, the ceasefire goes away. But until that happens right now, markets are liking what's happening, right? Big move up to, like I said, what is this? 25 to 50. Let me get my spectacles on. I don't have my screen set large type enough. I'm an unk here. I'm unked. I'm unking up. So the unks, we need glasses. All right. So anyway, yeah, man. This, I mean, from a price action standpoint, that's going to want to fall. That's a very solid resistance. Now, will it fall? That's another question, right? I think the news will have a lot to do with that at this point. If there's some news that even if it did want to fall, if the news was rather bullish, then then it may not fall and it may pierce up. But I can tell you right now, algorithmically, there's a lot of upward pressure on this. Price wants to go up. So what we'll probably see is anything. I mean, look, sure, we could see a move down. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Not like this. I don't expect to move down like that. What I do think will happen is one of two scenarios outside of any crazy news. We do have some pretty significant news coming on Friday. So you got to watch out for that. There's the CPI Friday. Let's take just a brief look. Some of the news changed. So let's go ahead and confirm what news is on this week. So nothing today. Tomorrow is PCE and GDP. That's big, right? That's pretty big. It's not as big as Friday, though. Friday, though, is the CPI, and that's big. So, that also could change matters if the data is way out of whack with what's really going on, right? I should say way out of whack with the estimates. So right now we're looking at probably some kind of, at least for the next day and maybe longer, depending on tomorrow's news, it's either going to sort of consolidate and break up. Maybe that's probably the most likely, like at least half likely scenario. And the other scenario is that it just continues to kind of grind and consolidate towards the top of this structure, maybe pull back a little bit and just continue to attract towards the top of that. But we, again, supposedly we have 2 weeks okay, for this to go down. So, I mean, are we going to really have that 2 weeks? I don't know, right? We're going to have to like, no one knows, roll the dice. I mean, are the negotiations going to break down? That's all the surprise stuff that can happen. And it can be rather profitable to trade such things if you understand how to do that. We show you how to do that at Algo Factory. So let's move on to let's take a look at silver. Silver popped up on the news as well. So nice move up. Broke above 76. And that actually is kind of a key level. I mean, locally, it's not a key level. I mean, there's some older sort of data that matters, right? But the real next key level for silver is going to be 90. So if price can stay above 76.50 with silver, and let me just take a look at the stack. This move up was from the news yesterday, right? So the stack itself, the algorithmic stack, indicator stack, I mean, it was at a point where we could see a turnaround. It's actually the case. Like this might be the turnaround for metals. We don't know for sure, of course, but this might be where we start to see a turnaround. And what I'm guessing though is that it's gonna right now, just based on the stack, this is going to be a slow sort of grind, and it's going to make a decision. It may come back down to grab liquidity and kind of grind upwards and sideways, or people might catch the FOMO and start to buy it. Because what will happen is if there really is a true ceasefire and then the war ends and all that, is oil is going to go down, and all the speculators who left precious metals to go play in the oil market, they're going to leave the oil market. And we can see here that oil has really made its way down, right? So, this probably has to do with a lot of stuff going on as far as why the announcement was made after the market closed on Monday and such. All the oil speculators were able to get either their longs off or their shorts on. And, there you go, right? And these things tend to happen on Mondays. This one happened on a Tuesday. So that's a massive gap. Usually with, this is Brent crude CFDs. If you go on the CME though, there's probably a similar gap. And if that's the case, this will want to get filled on oil. If that's the case, if there's a gap at the CME like that, then price is going to want to go back up and grab that. There might be some event that causes that. Anything can happen. I'm just here to say what the algos are saying, right? And oil ultimately wouldn't be where it is without the conflict. And if the conflict ends, oil is probably going to head back down. Now, is the new normal going to be like 80? We'll see. I have people who confidently say no, but I have people who confidently say a lot of things. Doesn't mean they're right. So I think a reasonable new normal, 80 is there. This is a 3 hour. So let me back out a little bit and take a look at a higher time frame on that. Yeah, 80 could be a new normal. More realistically, like above 70. There's a lot more liquidity here to play with. And by the way, massive gap. So price may eventually want to make its way down and grab this gap if there is a gap on the CME as such. And now taking any puts on this at this point, dangerous thing to do, I think. We don't know how the next 2 weeks will go, right? We don't know what's going to happen with negotiations, etc. So that's oil. We got time to take a quick look at Bitcoin before I move to the private live lab. So we'll do that. Bitcoin moving up. I did sort of predict this move up as one of my possibilities. It wasn't my only prediction, so I don't want to say, hey, I said it was going to go up and it did, which technically is true. But I had this doing a lot of different stuff. Bitcoin was just in a big consolidation, hard to read. Obviously, here it did what I said, but only because of the announcement, right? So I had expected it to go for a few more days and then maybe pop up just as the people panic in. So yesterday did that for me. So while this looks impressive, it's actually not. It's just lucky. See, I'm real. I'm real, guys. I could have told you, I predicted that. Look at that. I did that. And I know what I'm doing. No, that's, I didn't predict that. Like I, explained it to you. So, as much as I like to take credit for it, I can't. So now the question is what's going to happen next. Obviously, all the markets are pushing up against the dollar. So this is why we're seeing even Bitcoin at this time head up. I still have a bearish bias on Bitcoin though. So, I mean, the simplest way to look at this is probably a move to some form of resistance and then a move down. And currently the resistance is at 76. There's a, excuse me, there's a local resistance right now where price is. Price may or may not reject here. It's possible. It's very possible that it could reject there. So it's possible. I don't think it is going to do that though. I think we'll probably see. I mean, I don't want to say, hey, look, I've been very clear about Bitcoin. I think it's on the way into the next bear market. I think once it breaks below 60, it's going to really waterfall down. Until then, a lot of stuff can happen. So, this might reject where it is. It's actually like kind of a decent short, but my algos will not allow me to take it. I can't take this short right now. But if it heads up to like 75 or 76 again, and by the way, 74 is realistic. I get the feeling right now, and I say get the feeling, I mean, it's based on what I see, not just like, my feels, my fifis. I think price will probably grind for a while like this, and then it's going to make a decision. Is it going to go up? And, is it going to grab this here? Is it going to head down? I don't know. I think it's going to grind for now, and it may grind for a week or two or longer. I think that's quite possible. But as time goes on, we're going to know a little bit more. But to look at the stack, there's a lot of conflicting data. It's just in a weird spot. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. There's that's just what there is right now to talk about. So thank you all for watching. Look, if you like this, if you think that what I do here is helpful, please like and subscribe. Do that. Also share it. Share us out. We are the best kept secret on the internet when it comes to this stuff. There's not a lot of people making these predictions and being right about them. Not like this. So yeah, like, subscribe. Link in the description. Free algo. I build an algo, turn it into code, show you the tools traders use to have the computer trade. Well, they're not even sitting at the computer, right? So the algo itself requires your optimization before you do so. Understand that. Thanks for watching. Be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. EST sharp. Never forget.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love you.